All right. Welcome back, folks, to Age of Lemuria. I am your host and DM, Lord Lucan. It's been cold. It's been really, really cold. Today is 60 degrees, though, here in the Midwest of the United States. But man, this week's been brutal. Yeah, we were pretty damn cold. The winter vortex is no joke. I'm glad that Hunk Papa survived. How was your week, Hunk Papa? Mine was interesting, to say nonetheless.
Oh, long hours of work, occasional hopelessness, and bleak inflection.
I mean,
It wasn't too cold for us. I mean, it was, but it wasn't. We're looking at 45 today, which is pretty warm.
heat wave from
Yeah,
what we have been having.
yeah, certainly not as bad as it is in the Mid-East.
Leonardo, buddy, what about you? What's been going on?
Well, thank God, just got done with exams, and it's actually been pretty cold here as well. We got 3 days of snow, but now it already got warmer, so like 3 degrees Celsius. I have no idea how that would be Fahrenheit, but well.
I mean, I'll take snow over ice and any day. I mean, I'll take that any day.
Oh, I do agree with you, 100%.
Yeah. All right, well, enough about the real world. Let's go ahead and dive into Age of Lemuria and let's escape our current plight of world disasters. Guys, what happened last time on Age of Lemuria? This is episode 10, by the way.
Yeah, well, we got divided with Ulfgar running from the wyverns towards the ruins. Kortek, Amak, and What's Up being hanged in a tree that drinks blood. Kortek managed to save What's Up and Amak. We then headed back to the ruins. Ulfgar found the tree, and we weren't there anymore. And well, in the end, we ended up all in the ruins, kind of banged up. Like What's Up and Amak are pretty banged up.
They have not, yeah, they have currently have not revealed, relieved the curse upon them. So they are still not healing.
Yeah, and we were hiding at the moment.
Anything to add?
So,
Anything to
wyverns are still potentially outside, waiting for us to emerge. Some sort of creature with eye stalks is around, waiting for us to also emerge. So yeah, danger all around, and we're ready to leave once we do what we need to do here.
Currently, there is no cold. The cold had been lifted when we last left. About 2 hours, approximately 2 hours had passed by. And currently your breath is normal. Hunk Papa, as I understand, you rolled a natural 1 last time. However, off camera, you called upon your inspiration to make that 11, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
for
All
the
right.
perception.
Just to make it clear for the audience who watched it last week what's currently happening. Everybody has inspiration. I'm at the start of every game. Everyone has inspiration that you may call upon. I've seen your dice rolls. I've seen your dice rolls. Yeah, you guys have been going through some harrowing experience. Hopefully this time, your rolls will be better. So the scene opens up, right? We see this windstorm, sandstorm outside these tombs. We've seen this place before, and these pebbles of sand are like hitting the camera as it slowly descends into the darkness. Off to the right-hand side of the sandstone pillars, we see a small room. And blocking this room is like the circular door that can roll back and forth. It is currently shut. And we see this character, a dwarf of some sort, has his ear pressed against the door. What does this dwarf look like?
You see a short, gray-skinned dwarf with long, white, braided beard. He's wearing black armor with a shield and warhammer at the ready.
The camera pans over to like two sleeping forms, who are kind of like just like wrapped up in their cloaks, and they look badly beaten and cut. An orc and a gith are currently like leaning against the wall. And then we have a camera shot that pans over to a human. What does this human look like, Cortec?
Well, Cortec is a pretty tall man with a Nordic look to him. So, blue eyes, blonde hair, pretty strong, really athletic. And at the moment, he's sitting and thinking about visions he had on his mind wave go, which for him makes actually no sense to see a baby crib and a school at the same time.
Who knows what that could mean? Who knows what that could mean? And then in the corner, we see this elegant horse. It's kind of lathered up and dirty due to the sand and grit because it had been running through the desert. You see What's Up and Aamok like nod in appreciation to Ulfgar for keeping the horse safe. They talk in Orc, but none of you can understand Orc, but yes, they speak. You can roll me an insight to see what they're discussing. Yeah, they're just talking gibberish. You're not quite sure what's going on. The camera pans over to Ulfgar. Ulfgar, what are you doing? Your ear is currently pressed against the rolling door.
What does he hear with his 11?
Silence. The silence of a tomb.
He's going to try to quietly roll open the door.
Excellent. Yes. The door slides open.
He's going to peek his head around the corner.
Roll me another perception as you do this. In the distance, you remember hearing that. You hear it, but it's further down. It seems to be in this room here. What do you do?
He will lean back in and relay the information. He hasn't heard the door slide closed like it did when the tomb was first becoming active.
It's true. And currently you do not feel any cold.
He says that we might be able to sneak over to the statue, and he suggests that Aamok and What's Up take some of the silver from the horse to deposit it into the bank, as it were.
They nod in agreement. Are you escorting them over?
Yes, he will.
Roll me a stealth. They reach into the pouch and pull out 2 silver pieces, and each of them take one.
He's going to ask the ancestors for their assistance. So that's a 19.
Rolling survival or stealth?
Oh, whoops.
I mean, keep the roll.
It was supposed to be stealth.
Keep the roll, right? So it's a 14, right?
Oh no, it's make it a 10 because I have a +5 survival. I have a +0, so it's a 14 total.
Yeah. So you guys make it to the room. Cortec. What's your passive, Cortec?
No, as they do that, Quartet will just stake out the door and see if nothing comes on the corridor.
Roll me a perception as you listen. You hear nothing. You don't even hear them as they're like making their way down the corridor and make it into this room. You don't even hear them. It's quite silent. You hear Ulfgar. You hear or you see both Watsop and Amok put a silver piece into the hand of the statue. The statue closes its hand, and then you hear a chink, chink as the 2 coins are deposited. Both of them look relieved, like a sense of like relief washes over them as stuff happens. Roll me another knowledge arcana.
I think he did that last session, and I did it like successfully.
Well, I think he knew something good happened, but he wasn't quite sure what it was, and he's still at a loss.
Oh, yeah.
I knew it was. I knew
yeah.
it's a protection from
Right.
some sort of evil, but we don't know anything. He doesn't know anything specific.
You're not quite certain. It's a protection spell. You're quite confident that it is some sort of protection.
Wolfgar is going to motion for them to return to the horse, to the other room.
Excellent. You guys do not break stealth during this, and you make it to the room. Interacting with an object does not break stealth. Attacking does, doing opening, closing doors. Yeah, that does. So, what do you guys do?
Should we leave?
Ulfgar will share that there's still wyverns outside that followed him here. So our choices are to try and stay and quietly make camp for the night and just rest until we can recover our strength in the morning, or try our chances in the sandstorm.
Cortex, when you were outside, like you arrived after Ulfgar, right? You did not see any wyverns outside.
Well, of course, I didn't see any wyverns outside. I think it's clear if you want to leave.
He kind of shakes his head, but we can try it if you want.
So both of them are tired, right? And they've got slivers of health. I need you both to roll me a persuasion if you guys want to move on.
No. Cortic was just actually talking about the options. He's not trying to actually.
Okay.
I actively say they should leave. We're discussing it with them.
So, Ulfgar is going to try to close the door to this room.
Excellent. The door closes. And once again, silence of the area begins to take over. Yeah.
We need to rest here for a few hours.
Are you taking a long rest or a short rest?
We need to take a long rest, but we need to set up watches.
So I want you to roll an intelligence roll. Okay. You know that after like an hour or two, it's almost as if your presence goes noticed.
So
you know that this is consistent, right? Like it almost like happens consistently, it's almost like detections go off. You guys have currently been here for 2 hours.
Ulfgar is going to share this information. It sounds like we are going to have to leave the ruins and
Or
find some sort of...
press your luck. I mean, do what you want to do. I'm just saying that there's going to be rolls no matter what.
Yeah.
Choose your poison carefully, boys. That's what I'm saying here. Choose your poison carefully.
As Ulfgar says that, Cortex suggests they go to the fountain they found close to the ruins, as he knew that was.
Are you talking about the spring?
Yeah, the spring. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You know that place was kind of secreted away, right? So it was like kind of like a box cannon, right? You know that it's... let me check it out. It is to the...
southeast.
Southeast, correct, yes. It'll take you a bit of some travel. I believe Ulfgar has 1 level of exhaustion, correct? Because he was pushing himself.
Yeah, I think so.
He does.
Yep. So, once again, pick your poison wisely here, boys. The dice are literally in your hands.
So,
what would you like to do?
we could maybe try a short rest here before we leave.
That's true.
And, well, it's at least something, then we can actually try to make the travel in the spring.
Cha-cha choices.
Ulfgar thinks we should leave and try our chances in the desert.
Sounds good to me as well.
So once again, I need a persuasion. As you see, your 2 companions are currently trying to rest up, right? They're trying to rest up. Roll me a persuasion to try to convince them to leave as well. Okay. What is it, Ulfgar, that you say that you like blotch it? You're like, get up, scum!
Your choices are leave and potentially be eaten by wyverns, or stay and potentially be frozen to death by some form of creature.
So they kind of scowl at you, right? And they're like, you are the one who brought the wyverns upon us. You're the one that killed our men. It spoke to you. We saw it. We all saw it. What did it want?
I'm also the one who saved your lives.
How? I was unconscious. The only one who saved my life is Cortec.
Why do you
I
think?
don't know what happened to you.
Why do you think that he was there to save you? You are both on the ground and bleeding. Have you ever asked yourself why you're not inside the belly of a wyvern now?
Let's see here. What's Up says, well, of course I fought and killed one of them. They were terrified of my awesome orcishness.
If you are both unconscious, it makes for easy prey.
He says,
Why
well,
do
look
you
at
think
us
you're
now.
still here?
Look at us now. We're barely alive. You want to go out and face those things again? Are you insane?
I know that we will be discovered here soon. I know the challenges that we face here we may not be able to handle.
They seem unconvinced. They're like shaking their heads no in disgust, right? They know that you and those wyverns have some sort of communication. They didn't understand it, right? They didn't understand it, but in some way, like they're shifting the blame on you, right? They're angry, they're pissed off. You rolled low. Cortec, do you want to jump in this? They're currently blaming this tiny misshapen human for their ills. Clearly, the wyverns were after him, and they were caught in the middle, and they're currently pissed off at him.
Well, as they are discussing, Cortec approaches, takes his two battle axes in hand, look at them, and just like, whatever you guys decide, I'll be watching the door. I don't want anything to do with this discussion.
So they like nod in agreement, and they say, Ulfgar, if you want to run away and be a coward, then do so.
I've saved your life once before. I suppose wasting my time and saving it again won't be any trouble.
They like blink at you, uncertain, right? They're not quite sure how you saved their lives. You haven't explained how you did. How did you save their lives, right? You keep claiming that you're saving their lives, but when they woke up, it was only Cortec who was near them, right? Cortec was getting them out of the tree and everything else. So, to be clear, right, they were unconscious, right? You did save their lives, right? But they were unconscious during this time period. They just saw you like fighting, and then they fell unconscious, and they don't know what happened. And they come back, right? And you with the horse. I mean, it doesn't take much to figure out that you ran away, right? With the horse. They are checking the possessions on the horse as well. Here's a good question. Ulfgar, during this time, did you take anything off the horse?
He just took the 1 silver piece to pay for his the blessing.
Yeah, they don't notice the missing silver piece at all.
That's the only thing he took.
Yeah, they don't miss that. They scowl at you, right? But continue to like check the horse, expecting the worst from you, right? Yeah. Anything else? As they're currently like scouring their possessions.
I guess Ulfgar is going to take a short rest.
Excellent. You know what that roll is? It's a D100. You got to beat mine. Well, that ain't too bad. You got good odds.
What?
It's a D100. It's a D100.
Yeah, he just did his hit dice for the heal, for the short rest.
Oh, you want me to... Oh, right. Hold on.
It's odds. Yep. Awesome. As they're like doing inventory, what is everyone doing as the tomb remains calm and quiet during this hour? Amok and What's Up are currently taking inventory and stock of their items. They're not doing a lot of maintenance or anything like that. What is everybody else doing? They do get hit die back.
Cortex is watching the door, as he thought he would, because he's in good shape, so he just wants to let everyone else rest.
Okay.
Ulfgar is going to spend the time while he's resting to attune to the tier of the blood.
Interesting. During this time, as you are beginning to attune to this item, I assume you've got it out, showing everybody? What are you doing with this gem?
Yeah, he'll have it out. He's not too concerned with a half-dead, well, an almost dead Gith and an almost dead orc.
However, you're not alone. Cortec, Ulfgar, describe what you're currently holding in your hand.
It is a fist-sized red crystal that is imbued, that is warm to the touch.
It's massive. It's about the size of a fist. Yeah.
Where did you find that?
One of my ancestors had it for safekeeping, and I have inherited its position.
Oh man, I wish I had rich ancestors like that.
Let's see here. Okay. Interesting. Cortec, what are you doing?
Quartex is still doing watch at the door.
Roll me a perception as you continue to listen to the darkness of the tomb.
Right.
Cortec, this is amazing, right? What languages do you speak?
Droll, Giant, Common, and Null.
Excellent. As you're like listening to the tomb, right, and your ears pressed against the door, your hand brushes against the door, and it wipes away some of the clinged on dust and grit. You see hieroglyphs as you begin to like dust off the door, and you begin to read and this kind of ancient language, right? It's a mixture, right? It says, "Here is the tomb of Isnia."
Do you recall anything about his
You may roll me a knowledge history. Acenath. Isnia. You do not remember anything of importance about this individual.
Okay, well, Cortex will look at Ulfgar. Says, Ulfgar, there is something written in this door. Do you know anything about this? And it's Aesthenia?
Ulfgar, roll me a knowledge history as you attempt to recall the past. Yes, there we go. Excellent. Let me get me. Give me a second. I'm bringing stuff up. Yes, you remember Aesnia. She was once a powerful spellcaster back during the Age of the Mixed Kingdoms. She knew many things, many things. Yeah, she was one of the founders of the Mixed Kingdoms. She had an unnatural long life. She had a prosperous and joyous time. Many servants followed her, both humanoid and non-humanoid. She was a human. She was a human, and she was a servant of the Holy Master. That's what you gather with the 16.
Ulfgar will share what he remembers.
So maybe you think the presence is some kind of materialization of her, or
Ulfgar shakes his head. This might be one of the creatures who decided to follow her. perhaps are familiar.
Okay, well, at least we know something about what we're doing right now.
Ulfgar turns to Amok. You mentioned wanting to get home. I believe this might be the place that has the answers you seek, but I don't think we can find them just yet.
He says, "What do you mean?" He like looks at the scrolls that he currently has in his possession. He's like, "Surely one of these, will get me home."
Perhaps, but do you speak the language of the mixed kingdoms?
He shakes his head no. Well, he shakes his head like, kind of. So the mixed kingdoms is a mixed language, right? It's a hybrid, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of
He
like
knows it's a hybrid.
yeah. So
But Ulfgar offers to help and suggests that Kortek also help. He believes between the three of them, what we know, we should be able to decipher it if we work together. Since he knows the language of the mixed kingdoms is a little bit of Elvish, a little bit of Dwarven, a little bit of Common, a little bit of Giant, a little bit of, Knoll, a little bit of everything from the mixed kingdoms.
not
And
no.
he
To be clear,
Not
not no.
But either way, we might be able to decipher it if we work together.
Yeah.
Kortek nods and just waits to get assigned any piece of paper.
So does Amok show what he's gathered?
So you've seen these scrolls before, right? The scrolls. Let's see here. Let me see the treasure.
Yeah, and Ulfgar has some as well.
Yes. Tomb treasure with horse. Okay. So I need 2 religion rolls and 6 arcana rolls. As he is pulling out the magical scrolls from the tomb. Okay, so no, yes. Okay, so I will copy and paste the one you identified. That was... Copy and paste that one for this one right here. And then the knowledge arcana. Yep. You know 3 of those. 1, 2, 3. And then 3 of those. Paste. In no specific order, this is what you find. Save changes. Show players. I assume you're just taking a random, right? As you're going through them, you quickly identify some of them. This is what you find out for the scrolls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Interesting. And you misidentify one. Yep. I'm tempted to mess with you guys, but I think no, let's not do that. I'm really tempted to mess with you guys, but nah, that's all right. I'm just going to call that as the failure, and that's it. I'm super tempted to do that, though. Super tempted. Yes, that's what you have discovered. By the way, you believe that this is a small fortune unto itself.
Ulfgar is interested in the protection from everything scroll. But he doesn't see anything here that he knows of that would help Amok return from any.
Yeah. Anything else? You have 2 arcane scrolls not identified and 1 divine that's not identified. So yeah, I'm so tempted to mess with that one. So tempted. Okay, that's what you guys discover. Anything else?
Nope. I'm assuming what's up, and Amok will take their short rest and will regain some hit points.
They do, yes. They recover 1 hit die.
When the attunement is up for the blood tier, or the tier of the Blood Queen, I would like to change the Spare the Dying cantrip to the fire element, or the fire element.
What are you attempting to do?
So one of the abilities for the attunement says that it grants a single spell the ability to change its elemental damage into fire. Requires attunement.
Yes.
So I wanted to change the damage from temporarily change the damage from Sacred Flame and from radiant damage to fire damage.
To be clear, you can do that whenever you want to. You just have to pick the spell.
Oh, okay.
So you're using the magic of the stone to change it. That's kind of like an at-will ability.
Okay. So I can go back and forth between radiant and fire at will.
Yes. There is no limitations on that.
Okay.
You're literally manifesting the red flame instead of white
The
flame,
black flame.
or the black flame, or yeah. You can usually So does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. But you have to declare though. Okay. You have to declare.
Yep.
That's the only thing that's about it. After an hour, I believe you're attuned to it, correct? It feels good. It feels warm. It feels very powerful.
He's going to suggest that we leave again now that we've recovered our strength. We can't stay in this tomb forever.
They nod in agreement and roll me persuasion once again, with advantage because they feel a little bit better having some health rather than no health. Yes, there we go. They nod in agreement and like, yes, let's just leave this place.
Cortec is still suggests that they stop by the spring until everyone is recovered, since it's a safe location.
Excellent. I assume you guys are heading out.
Yeah, we'll head out of the tomb. Whenever it comes time to find our way, Ulfgar suggests Cortec does, since he's been there before, but he will ask for the ancestors.
Yes, you guys head over to the overland map.
Yeah. Can I use my trait, the wanderer trait, to actually recall the way to the spring?
You may, yes.
All right.
It still requires a survival roll because you have to make it to the spring. You just know where it's at.
So yeah, Ulfgar will help, and you will have the guidance of the ancestors.
And you have advantage because he is helping you.
All right.
One. That's good. That's good.
Not this time.
Roll the d4.
Yep.
It adds to the total.
It does. Let's see if you actually get back to where you want to. It's going to be really close. That's what you needed. You literally can't fail. You make it to like the box cannon. And it's a very safe place, right? You make it out of the sandstorm, so the sandstorm doesn't follow you or anything like that. You make it to the overland map. Within today's time period, you make it here. Let's go ahead and place yourselves. You feel like, yes, you've taken a breather. You made it. You're outside the tomb. The wyverns are nowhere to be seen for now. You see how much you are can hold. What are you guys doing that night?
Cortex suggests that everyone rests and recover their energies, and he offers to take the first shift for watch.
Yes. They begin resting and relaxation. Is anybody doing anything else?
Ulfgar is going to try to also attune to the Gia's Claw. He knows that there's some hidden power there that he wants to try to uncover.
Well, I require 2 rules. A knowledge nature and a knowledge, let me see, arcana.
He's going to ask for the ancestors' help on this as well. Oh, much better than the first time.
Oh, so much to reveal.
Arcana that now. Come on, good luck.
Let's see what we got. So yeah, you identify a great deal of stuff here. Holy crap, you identified a lot of stuff here.
It's about time.
As you've been rubbing, let's go ahead. Exposed. There we go. And then it's 18. You guys got the 18, and then you got the nature, right? Nature 20? Nature 20. All
21.
right. You believe you still haven't discovered everything about this.
Of course, it took him finding the Keeper of the Black Flame to uncover the first one. Can't be that easy.
Oh my. Let's go ahead and edit this down. Enter and then paste. You discover many, many things about this. There is some interesting things, interesting qualities about this, so you need to familiarize with this.
He'll also take the time to attune to this also, now that he realized he can.
Cortec, you realize like his holy symbol has changed greatly. Ulfgar, describe it.
Hold on, I'm looking to see if you changed the description any.
I should. I saved it.
Yeah, I mean, like, so it's what once was a dull gray stone-like claw is now a bright green shining claw that he's taking the time to examine meticulously.
Wow, that changed. It's just like somehow he got some divine help to actually figure out what happened to it.
Some meta help. Some meta help.
So, what's up with your claw? Why does it change? Why did it change?
He doesn't know if he should reveal all the information about this this company. He will tell you that he'll explain everything later.
So as you're like talking, right? WhatsApp and Almak are both staring at you, right? You said you weren't hiding this, correct?
He's attuning to it.
Right. So you're not hiding this. It says, is that what they were after?
Rolfgar shakes his head. No.
Roll me a deception.
But Ulfgar doesn't really think that. Okay, I'll roll it.
You sure about that?
He doesn't really think that's what they're after. They said they were after him.
That? You sure about that, buddy? Yeah. They believe they're like, perhaps it was just a freak accident.
Yeah, now I'm gonna.
Perhaps we're being too harsh on you. Perhaps we're being too harsh on you, Ulfgar. I apologize.
Apology accepted.
WhatsApp frowns and says, I don't believe him. He says, do you honestly believe that this is just common rabble? There's something going on here, boss. And like Almach's like, that's enough, what's up? We've already lost too much. If he was a common thief, do you think he would have left our belongings? And what's up, like, looks at his belongings and stuff like that, and he's like, you're right, Almach. A thief would have ran away in the night with all of our items. He did not. Perhaps we have misjudged you, Ulfgar.
I came looking for you after I was able to lead the wyverns away. It is sad to know that more of your kind are gone. What's up? I once knew an orc when I was younger. I know they are not the savages that the humans believe them to be.
He says, are you not a human? I mean, yeah, you just said humans, yeah. Are you not a human?
Much to learn.
Cortec, yeah. This short, stubby humans just bashing on humans.
As soon as What's Up says that, Cortec looks surprised to Ulfgar and just like, what? You're not a human?
Yeah. Silence.
As I said, in my younger days, I was friend to an orc. How many humans do you know can say that?
There are many, and Ravenshaven would call me friend and ally. I have served them over the years. The stable master, William, and I have an agreement, an accord of sorts. We work for him, and he helps us. So not all filthy short humans are terrible. He laughs at this. Ha 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 ha! By the way, he's an orc, right? So he's big, massive. He's probably a good 2 foot taller than Ulfgar. Cortec, he's about the same size, maybe a little bit taller than you. Maybe a little bit, but not much. He's definitely broader. Definitely thicker.
Well, what's up? Not every human is as small as you think.
What's up nods in agreement. He's like, Cortec, you helped save me and Almach. We owe you a great death. What is it that you require from us? And we will aid you in however we can.
Well,
you saved our lives.
We can think about that later. For me, it's a matter of honor to actually save those who are on my side.
It was just a series of adventures that the wyverns would fall upon us. We had encountered them in the past, but we usually drove them away. They do not usually come in such numbers. We can usually deal with 1 or 2, but 4 is unnatural.
Yeah, well, I do think they have some unfinished business with Ulfgar. I don't know what that's about, but what I know is that Ulfgar is not our enemy right now, so...
You are mistaken, Cortec. I don't think the wyverns had anything to do with Ulfgar. Because of that deception.
What do we think it was?
Actually, Cortec, you can roll me a sense motive, right? What would that be? An investigation? What would be that?
It's usually insight.
It'd be an insight, yeah. Yeah, you could roll me an insight against that 14. Yeah. Yeah. You believe what you do, but Almach and What's Up believe that he's telling the truth. Tell me about this micro expression that gives you away, Ulfgar. That only Cortex seems to notice.
Ulfgar has a habit of darting his eyes back and forth whenever he's lying to try and make sure no one else might hear him or overhear him, like a little bit of paranoia when he speaks.
Cortec, you pick up on this, but the others are convinced, right? Like the wyverns have nothing to do with him, right? And they tell you this. They tell you, like, you are mistaken, Cortec. Do not blame your fellow man for misfortune.
So Cortec nods to Amak and what's up, but then throws a kind of like over the shoulder look to Ulfgar. But since Ulfgar told him he's gonna tell him what the holy symbol is about later, he accepts it for now. So
Anything
all right.
else? Anything else that night? Because everybody starts to like settle down. They refill their cantinas, right?
Yeah, what Cortec does is, well, he will take the first shift for the watch. As soon as someone is up to actually relieve him, he will fill up his bowl again and try to commune with it.
Excellent. Go ahead and roll me that sweet perception as you fill up your bowl with the pure spring water. Roll me perception. Yes. Once again, you see image of a skull, a human skull. Roll me again. The water clouds, or like maybe you like breathe too heavily, right? So you're looking into it, and then the water ripples, and whatever image you were going to see, kind of like ripples, and then one last one, and then yeah, your hands are shaking, right? Because you're like excited, and ripples. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Cortec will settle for the skull, and will still think about the crib, and just go crazy about it.
So to be clear, right? Skull, the symbol of your village, and then something, maybe a crib.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay. Well, after that, Cortec will return the water to the spring, and he'll rest.
The night passes uneventfully. You guys rolled above a 20. Yes. The night passes uneventfully. What do you guys do? Go ahead and place yourselves. You're currently right here.
Hold on, I think I gotta refresh because I don't see the map.
Okay. Do you see the map, Cortec? I'll make sure that everybody's at the same place.
Yes, I do.
Okay. No, not you. Don't place yourself. You are the skull, party of adventurers.
Yeah, I don't
Should
see
be
the
able to.
skull.
You don't see the skull?
Nope.
Should be all players.
Was it white for you? If it's white for you, you gotta refresh.
No, I mean I see the map. I just don't see the skull.
So I'll move the skull. Do you see it?
I see everything now.
No. Yeah, I'm gonna refresh.
Yeah, go ahead and refresh. Too many maps. Scroll. Yeah. What do you guys do now? You have the whole world before you. Yeah, what do you guys do?
He still suggests we make it back to, or Ulfgar still suggests we make it back to Ravenshaven if we can. There's still Bud Skipper, presumably there, waiting for them to get back, and they have a haul of treasure now that they can offload and have appraised.
Cortec agrees, and Luke said, "I'm not in what's up." He agreed to it as well.
Yeah, I want to go back home. They've had enough adventuring. By the way, everybody heals, right? So there's no longer any curse or sense of dread. The sands appear to be normal.
This time, Ulfgar will try to lead us back if Cortec will help, and doesn't want to run into any wyverns, so he's going to ask for the ancestors' guidance.
Korzek, tell me how you are aiding Ulfgar in this.
Well, actually, Cortex will help with whatever he knows about the region, so about this area and this area.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, well,
so you have two options. You can go to the east or the northeast towards the tree, or you can go north. Or tell me where you place yourself. There, place yourself. Where are you going?
yeah, that's all with Oakbar. Cortex
We
is helping.
would probably want the most direct route. But we do know near the tree is where we ran into the wyverns the first time.
There's also another hazard that you have to be aware of.
Yeah, the giant.
Okay. Just a friendly reminder. Just a friendly reminder.
Well,
What you guys going to do?
We'll go up.
Okay.
all right.
Roll it.
So that's a
Excellent.
16.
The day passes normally, right? Nothing bad happens. You continue traveling. Anything RP wise you guys want to do? As you guys are just walking normally in the desert.
Cortex will always try to look for answers in goals. So
I'm
Maybe
still
9
trying
buses.
to. I'm still trying to get a hold of what all this gives me access to. So
Okay.
with
all
the
right.
claw.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting you to roll a 20 on the first die. So I'm just like, copy, bloop, bloop. And by the way, you still have to roll above a certain point for the other one as well. So you haven't discovered everything about it. Cortec, roll me a perception as you guys are like taking a break, like a short rest. You pour the water in the bowl. Go ahead and roll me a perception 3 times. Excellent. There it goes. Instead of a symbol of a crib, you are quite certain, right, that it is skull, symbol of your village, and a throne.
This time, Ulfgar will share what he knows. He suggests that the throne is the symbol for the Holy Master, that it might be the Holy Master is coming for your village.
As soon as Ulfgar says that, Cortex looks at him and says, "We have to go north."
Lad, what would the Holy Master want with a village far in the north? They can barely keep their land safe here in the Golden Plain.
Well, I'm pretty sure he'll meet a good battle there, but I would rather be there to fight along with my people.
Lad, if we have any other evidence to go on, I might be able to help you. But I assure you, from what I've seen, the Holy Master, his influence cannot stretch much farther than the Golden Plains. Perhaps some people in Ravenshaven might know a little bit more about this.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. We should go to Ravenshaven, but as soon as we're done there, I'm really inclined to go north and at least check on the village.
Let's see what we can find in Ravenshaven, lad. In the meantime, keep looking. Perhaps your premonitions may change.
Yeah, Quartek will try to remember anything that he can correlate with the three symbols together. So he takes
Sure.
into account what Oprah said.
So for the skull, roll me knowledge religion.
Mm-hmm.
And I can ritually cast Augury, so I can try to Ulfgar can try to help discern the meaning as well with asking the ancestors if they know anything about this, but he doesn't. He kind of.
Cortec, the skull means anything, right? This could mean pirates, right? Could mean pirates. It could mean death. It could mean sickness. It could mean all types of stuff.
Yeah.
There are the skull throughout the years of the Age of Lemuria has represented many, many things. Even in your village, right? A skull could be used as like a holy object, right? Even in your home village. So you're not quite sure. You know your symbol of your village, so you don't have to roll for that. And then go ahead and roll me knowledge religion for the symbol of the throne.
Can I use an inspiration for that?
I'd roll it first and then declare it. I'm nice that way. Roll it first and then declare it.
Oh,
Are you declaring it?
I think that's a yes.
I think that's a yes. Yeah. This is why I said you want to roll first, and then I was like, I'm going to use my inspiration. Yes, you see this symbol, and I will reveal it to you. Rolled that natural thing. Let me make sure.
I mean, technically, that's the best he could get. He can
Yes.
never get perfect.
Oh yes. But it does reveal. Tell me, like during your travels, when have you come upon the symbol of the Holy Master? When is it? When is this?
Well, it was pretty much when I was starting my trip down south. And I stopped by a village in the way, and I actually saw the symbol in a book that I found in the village.
Okay. I know I got it. Is it not showing up? I'm trying to copy and paste it into the my library.
I saw some things flashing here.
It's not showing. That's the weird thing about it.
You have it as a handout.
There should be a token on the map, but the token's not showing up. Let me reconnect. I'm not
You
sure
might be
why.
on the wrong layer too. You might be dropping it down on the wrong layer.
It's on tokens, object and tokens. So it should be able to see by everybody, but it's not.
I think it's funny.
I'm
how
going to
I got-
refresh. I'm just going to reconnect.
It's funny how I got a critical fail and a critical success.
Please note the irony of that. This is why I was like, see it first and then call it. Hey, to be clear, I'm on your guys' side. It is not showing up for some reason. It is a symbol of a throne. It is white, pure white, with.
I see it now.
You do see it?
Yep.
I can't see it. That's weird.
I see it now also.
Okay, yeah. What's going on here, Roll 20? What's going on here, Roll 20? Are you killing me, Roll 20? Alright, alright. I'm going to refresh. Yep, there it goes. There it goes. Come on. Come on now. Alright. Let's make sure everything is working here. Back to Roll 20. I was like, I'm not sure why it's not loading up. All right, so that is the symbol that you see in the water. Okay. Let's go ahead and jump on Twitch, make sure that we're still streaming on Twitch. While we're doing that as well. Nope, nope, nope. Go away, commercials. Go away, commercials. Okay, everything seems to be operational. Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right, now I see it. Now I see it. Okay, so this right here, to the front, is what you see. A symbol of a white throne, a black with white embroidering throne within the bowl.
And what do I recall?
That is what you see. Okay, hit F11. Make sure that's big. Yep. Okay. Cool. All right. That is what you see. You know for sure that is the symbol of the Holy Master. You are certain.
All right. Yeah, Oprah, you're right. That is the symbol of the Holy Master. Okay. Well, let's get Amak and WhatsApp to Raven to.
Well, it is currently night. Are you guys going to push yourselves?
No, we're taking a rest. I'm just telling him that I'll forget about it for now until we get to Raven City.
Go ahead and roll me a survival as night falls upon you.
We'll rinse and repeat
Yep.
with guidance and aid and all that other stuff. We don't want any unwanted visitors this time.
Oh, I want them. I want them a lot. Ah!
Wait.
You do have a... Okay. All right.
I will use my inspiration for this one
Excellent.
too. So it's a 17.
Mark off the inspiration. The night passes uneventfully. This morning, what do you guys do?
That was
Just
awful.
eat away your inspiration. Just eat it away. With your rolls.
So could I roll the Arcana for that night to
You
try and?
may. Actually, I know.
Nope,
I don't know if
wait.
you can be able to
Okay.
get it. Go ahead and roll it. Right.
So theoretically, I can. I have a
Yeah.
+1 Arcana, and I have the guidance.
A
that will
die
also
4.
add.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's possible. Yeah.
Yep.
The claw does not reveal anything more.
And then we're going to set off for the day.
Excellent. Go ahead and roll me sweet survival. Once again, we'll describe the scene, right? You guys are traveling across this vast desert. On the horizon, you can now currently see... Yes!
I had advantage though, right?
Oh, that is true. Yeah.
So that's an 18.
That is
So
true.
actually, I didn't need to use my inspiration before, but whatever. I said I was gonna.
That is true. I'll let this slide.
It's
Man,
fine.
you
We're
look at these
helping each other.
ones.
That's why
Look
we
at
say
these
it.
ones. Look at these ones. I'll let it go. The day passes uneventfully. What do you guys do during the day as you guys take a short rest? Almak and what's up? As they see Ravenshaven in the distance, they say, we would like to reward both of you for your duties. I want you both to think of a weapon of which you will deem suitable for your skills in battle. And we will have the blacksmith there create you a weapon of mastery quality. Is that a good enough reward for you?
Yeah, that really sounds amazing. I'll be very grateful for that. And this is my weapon. I show them the better one.
It will take time for the blacksmith to create these items. Will you be staying for long?
Or as long as I can, I guess. But I really need to go as fast as possible to my village.
He says, well, you are already going home.
Aye, lad, you've just reached the Golden Plains, haven't you? You've just started your journey not too long ago.
Yeah, but I don't like the premonition ahead.
Could be. what you saw was a premonition for the future. May not be the present.
Yeah, but I didn't see it time span, so I at least need to warn them.
Lad, stick with me, and you might be able to warn them sooner than you think.
Okay, I guess I can trust you based on what we lived so far. Okay, so Cortec will be, of course, conflicted, but seeing that he has something to gain and prove in Raven's Haven, he will, as soon as they get there, he will try to dispatch a letter or a messenger or anything he can to Stormhunt through the bridge.
Almok says, if I had more orcs, I would be able to send a messenger for you. However, he looks around. He's like, my company has been totally destroyed, unfortunately. And the men that are currently working for Williams are too precious for them to be sent out. I will need time to recover my strength. Maybe there will be more orcs. Or maybe if you find orcs, send them to Ravenshaven. And perhaps they will ally with me.
I might know someone who can send your message for you once we return to Ravenshaven.
That would be a great help. I am very grateful for you all.
When we get there, though, lad, keep an eye on your money. They like to take from newcomers as much as they can.
He says, Cortec, if you mention my name, you have served me well. They will listen to you and give you normal price.
Thank you, Anna.
He nods to you.
Well, when Cortec hears Ulfgar talking about the money and the burglars, he will actually grab his pouch of coins and put them inside his trousers and then live a bit.
So we got this scene of a bulge and Cortec's pants going chink, 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 chink. Night begins to fall upon you. Before anything else, are you guys doing anything?
Try to glean any more information out of that Ulfgar can before during the day, I should say. So while we're traveling, can he try and make another Arcana roll?
You may, yes. Persistence. You're not quite certain if there is anything left, right? I've found enough things about this item. I don't need nothing else. Night begins to descend upon you. Roll me a sweet, sweet survival, unless you guys are going to push yourselves to Ravenshaven. You guys are almost right there.
We could push ourselves.
What does
Amok and What's Up want to do?
So they've been traveling for 2, 3, 4 days. So they're looking a lot better. They're looking a lot better. They appear to have half their health back. Although they're not perfect, right? They look a lot better. Their green cheeks are more green, right? Instead of a pale, milky green. They actually look like they could survive a fight or two if they had to. What would you guys like to do? Would you like to push yourselves and take one level of exhaustion? Or would you like to rest and continue in the morning and make it to Ravenshaven? It is currently night, it is starting to descend. The sun in the distance is right. You can see the lights of Ravenshaven now. You can see them in the distance. Are you guys going to force march? Are you going to risk it?
Cortec looks at everyone and says, well, should we toss a coin for it? I mean, it doesn't really matter what we do.
So Amok and What's Up both are like, well, let's not push ourselves, especially in the desert. Bad things can happen when you rush. And he's like, there's no hurry, right? There's nothing that's driving us. Another day isn't anything. Another
What
day
about
means
you,
nothing. It's
Ulfgar?
just time.
What you think?
Ulfgar believes that we can make it to Raven's Haven and rest there once we're behind the safety of its wall. But if they're not willing to keep on, then he's not going to be able to force them to.
Okay, so Quartic looks Trevor and says, well, I guess we're resting then.
Another night. Go and roll it. Out in the endless desert.
Gonna cast guidance again. Ask for help.
The night passes uneventfully. Nothing happens. You find like a small dune as a windbreak. Right? Yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
Is anybody doing anything that night before continuing in the morning?
Quartic will try to figure out again what the school means.
Sure. Go ahead and roll me a knowledge religion. I mean, it means everything and anything, right? It's clearly pirates. It's pirates! Arr! Pirates are going to attack, right? Pirates are going to attack your village, and then the Holy Master is going to come and save them. Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. That's wrong, by the way. I'm going to tell you right now. That's wrong. But that's what your character thinks. Pirates. Arr!
Thank God. All right. Okay, that's it for Quartic.
What about you, Ulfgar? Are you doing anything special tonight before going to bed? You guys find a nice, decent place to bed down.
Try and figure out more if there's anything else about this the
Sure.
Claw of Gia.
Sure. You found everything about it, right? Confident that there's nothing more to learn. You just keep coming up with the same material. Anything else? All right. The night passes uneventfully. Everybody's looking really good in the morning. Anything else? Morning arrives. The sun cresses the horizon. The lights of Ravenshaven begins to fade as the heat begins to take over. And 5 days have passed. Let me write this down. You make it to the city of Ravenshaven. You need to roll me, once again, the last survival. I'm sure you guys will make it, right?
Rinse and repeat with help and guidance.
I know you guys are going to make it. Yeah, you guys are fine. You guys are fine. What are you guys worried about? What are you guys worried about? You guys shouldn't be worried. You guys need to travel out and adventure more. So, you guys make it to Ravenshaven. The orcs are not there. Oh, the vast majority of orcs are not there. Almach and What's Up are fully healed. Go ahead and place you guys as self here. Everybody roll me perception as you hear a bit of a talking to, right? The gates are normally open. They are currently shut. You hear talking and debate going on. And once again, you see Commander Archon and his men kind of like opening the gates, which are normally open for trade and stuff like that, and says, "Who goes there?"
Ulfgar nudges Amok to speak up.
Amok raises his hand. He says, "Commander Archon, it is I, Amok, and this is what's up. And you know these other two. These were new arrivals. This is Ulfgar and Kortek." He says, he like looks around and he's like saying, he says, "You're not dead, are you?" He's like, "No, of course not. We're talking to you. The dead can't talk." He's like, "That's not what I heard." He like shuts the door, and you hear this like cranking, and the doors begin to slowly
at the mention of this, Ulfgar is going to activate his Eyes of the Grave. As his eyes glass over, he's going to take a look around with it activated.
Sure.
Is there any undead within 60 feet of him?
Oh. Can you see through stuff? That's my question. Go ahead and paste what you see. Yeah, so... Then 60 feet. You do not sense anything.
Okay.
Armok and What's Up, who are currently fully healed, he's like, "What's with all the gates being closed and everything else?" He's like, "Well, where's your men?" He's like, "We had some trouble on the road." He's like, "Really? Was it the undead? Did they attack you?" And he's like, "No, wyverns attacked us." Like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Well, the undead have overtaken the fortress of Malgrave. Not only that, but the Knoll tribes have allied with them." He's like, "That's impossible. That's not true. How is that even acceptable?" He's like, "Where are your orcs? We need more men." And he's like, "We lost them in a battle." He's like, "Oh crap! We need those men." He's like, "When did humans ever need orcs?" And he's like, "Now." There's a discussion of Commander Archeon and the mercenary captain. He's like, "What about the men that are currently available?" He's like, "All of them have been spent. They're currently working with Commander Williams." They begin to walk away from you guys as they are discussing matters of importance.
All right, lad. I've got business to attend to in the tavern. You can find me there.
Okay. Kortek will go around.
Kortek, despite the commotion and stuff like that, you see one guard break off and begin to follow you during the commotion.
Hi. Do you need anything?
He says, "I am here to watch you, newcomer. Our people do not trust you, especially during times of war. Who are you and why are you here? Are you here to trade?"
No, my name is Kortek, and I just came in. Ama, the mercenary leader. We were actually fighting together in the desert.
"Oh, you're a mercenary."
No, I'm not. I just allied with them and helped them fight.
Sounds like a mercenary.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like.
I mean,
like,
you're getting paid for it.
No, I'm getting paid for saving their lives, not for fighting for them.
So he looks confused at you, right? He's like, you just, out of the kindness of your heart, see this mercenary group and then just decide to join with them? And you're not a merchant, so you weren't doing it for mutual protection. So what are you here for? You some spy?
I don't need to answer anything. Just if you want to know anything about me.
He's like, "That's why I'm asking. Who are you?"
Again, go ask Kamak. I'm not gonna answer anything from you. And then he just keeps walking.
He once again follows you.
Fine, let the shadow come.
Oh yes, very much so.
Okay. So, Cortex actually, when it gets to here, he looks at the guy like, "Hey, you want to make some money?"
Are you trying to bribe a guard?
No, I'm actually looking for someone to deliver a letter to my tribe. No.
He scowls at you and he's like, does it look like I'm some sort of page?
Do you know anyone that could do that work?
Roll me a persuasion. You see if he'll be helpful towards you, since you're not being helpful towards him. So he's like, yes, there are a few people who'd be able to send a message to.
Great. Okay. Well, now we know why I'm here. I actually met the group of mercenaries in the middle of the desert. I was actually just exploring, and we just crossed paths, and well, it was good for both of us, for both the group, me and the group, to actually stay together and be safer. So that's pretty much why I'm here.
So what's your business in Ravenshaven?
Well, actually, I just a camping company, all for an Amak here. I actually have never been here. You don't know me.
I know. That's why we're following you.
You don't need to worry about me. I pose no threat. I just really want to find someone to send a message to my village.
Roll me a persuasion, saying like, I'm no threat. I'm just here to send a message. Right? You're just like, hey, I'm calm your chops, right?
Yeah, oh, come on.
He's like, we don't trust outsiders, especially wild men from the north. Don't think that I don't know what you are.
That's okay. I guess you just have to see, really.
He's like, exactly. That's why I'm following you.
That's right.
As you step in here, right? As you step into this courtyard, this merchant area, you notice this large orb. Roll me a knowledge history. See if you can identify this. It looks like a miniature sun hovering above this pool. Yeah. It's just hovering right there above this pool.
Your place is really cool. Nice miniature sun.
It's like, another country bumpkin from the north.
Okay. So again, where is the messenger you told me about?
He said, if you go into the inn, and he gestures to the inn, right? He points to here. He says, if you talk to the barkeeper, Aura or Sarah, they can direct you to sending messages.
Okay, well, I guess you're coming along, so let's go.
I mean, he follows you. Off to the side, you see an alchemist who is currently doing things. He's like pouring out some fluids into like a vat. And you see like several scrolls and herbal kits and healer's kits on the side of his shelves. You hear the blacksmithy off to the side, to the north of him, and he's like, tink, 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 tink. Of course, the mercenary, or not the mercenary, but the guard continues to follow you within 5 feet, right? Watching you, observing you, like looking over you, right? He hasn't touched you or anything. He's just really in your face. You can roll me an insight, right? Yes. You know that this guy is nervous, right? This guy is clearly nervous. When he demanded to see if you were like a spy or anything like that, he was trying to like make you give up, like or like try to. He's trying to make you nervous, right? That way you do a misstep, right? So he's trying to get you to fumble.
Okay.
Legally, he's trying to do that, right?
Okay. Well, Cortex will just ignore him.
Yeah. As soon as you enter the tavern, the guard breaks off and returns to his post.
Cortex just looks over his shoulder and says, "Wimp." All right, and then he goes to the tavern.
So we'll get a cutscene, right? As like you were having this dialogue with the guard. We see Ulfgar enter into the tavern, right? For both of you, once again you see these two nobles who are currently feasting and drinking and celebrating their holiday. Man, that's been a long ass holiday that they've been on.
It's a very long holiday for humans.
Yeah, oh yeah. You see a barkeeper, you know her, and she comes up to you and she's like, would you like some soup, Ulfgar? It's good to see you back. Same thing as normal? A beer and soup?
He's a little confused at this. He didn't reveal himself until
Oh yeah, that's true.
later, so they still know Adric. They don't know
Adric, yes. My apologies. Adric, yes, the same thing?
He nods.
Oh wait, didn't you change appearance too?
Yeah, he did.
Ulfgar, you get harassed as much as Cortex does.
Yeah.
I'm skipping a whole bunch of stuff here because I'm forgetting this. So you get harassed, right? As much as Cortex.
He's gonna pay her a silver piece and walk away.
Hello, stranger. Yes, could I interest you in some soup and beer? Talking to both of you because you were both harassed.
Not right now. Thank you.
She says, do you guys want a room or anything?
Not at all. If I think I need one, I'll just go from you here. Thank you.
She like nods and replies and heads over to another patron, and she starts handing out food and stuff like that.
And the person that sent me to is the person, right?
In this corner, this is like a dark corner, you see a wolf, a large wolf with 3 drow. At the head of it, you see this drow leaning back in her chair, and she's like tapping her fingernails on the wood, clearly distracted as you approach. These 2 guards come around and says, "What do you want?"
Ulfgar will hold up his hand and speak in Undercommon.
Do you remember that I came in here not too long ago, wanting to know about the farm and the old...
You finally dropped the disguise, I see.
It was getting tiresome.
Once again, she's like tapping her nails on the board. She says, "What do you want, dwarf?"
This child wishes to send a message to his loved ones in the north. Can you do this?
He turns to Cortex.
She says she'll deliver your message for you, but it's gonna cost some gold.
Okay, just out of game. Lucan, you never actually talked to me about gold. Like
yes.
How much the Cortex has.
So gold is incredibly rare. You start off incredibly rich. You start off with your average gold pieces. However, realize that this gold is incredibly rare. So currency is silver to gold is 100, right?
Okay, how much are we talking about?
Did I write down? I believe it's 15 gold. No, 25 gold. She says 25 gold.
It says, well, Almak told me I would get her price here. Get a really fair price.
Ulfgar chuckles to himself at hearing this.
She looks at you and she says, "Almak is a fool." Do you not know who you speak to?
No offense, but
I
oh,
am Lady Isabella. And who are you, human?
pleasure to meet you. I'm Cortex.
Sounds like a northerner's name.
Yeah, I come from the Starved Hunter village.
Ugh. More wild men.
Well, we're good for some things.
She like laughs at this. She's like, I suppose they can be entertaining.
Okay, so
You're looking at a drow currently. She has white hair. She's very beautiful. Yes. Well, above average beauty. Above average beauty.
by the way, you look really good. And Cortex blinks at her.
Interesting. Roll me a persuasion as you're trying to butter her up.
Actually, he's really flirty.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Let's see how flirty you are. Nice. Nice. And she says, yes, the men of the North do have their wild uses. And she winks back at you.
All right, lad. My work here is done. I don't need it.
He walks away towards the bartender.
You head back towards the barkeeper. So just go ahead and take care of Cortex. She's like 25 gold there. Handsome.
Okay, so Cortex really believes this is pretty necessary. So he looks at her and says, well, okay, 25 gold, but I want to know how it was used for at the you later. And smiles.
She says, do you doubt me?
No, I don't. I'm just really curious.
She smiles at this and she says, think of it as life insurance.
Okay. Then Cortex writes a letter to Amaya and says, Amaya.
So I want you to write this letter down and then send it to me. And
All right.
yeah. And she says, how far away is this village?
It's really far up north. It's close to the endless ice. And then Cortex draws a map. for her.
She says, 25 gold might not be enough.
Well, can't we work this out?
She smiles at this. She says, what could you possibly give me?
Well, I mean, what do you want in the moment?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Holy shit. She says, well, how about this? A favor for a favor? You don't have to pay me anything. I have a man who's on the edge and needs to be taken care of.
And who's this?
There is a servant who doesn't seem to know his place anymore. He needs to be, how do you say, beheaded.
Okay, and who is the servant?
She says, well, I mean, do these terms sound agreeable?
First, I need to know who the target is.
Oh, just some lowborn. One of my men who seems to be a bit arrogant in his ways. He's a common rabble soldier. I need you to make an example out of him.
Well, point your finger.
And you don't have to do anything. You just have to simply kill him. That's it. And then think of this message as already sent.
Well, nothing is more important than his village, so he just agrees.
She says, "Do we have an accord?"
Alright. Cortic, well, Cortic, can I try an insight?
Sure.
If she's...
Sure, go ahead. Yes, you're pretty sure that this. You are talking to a guild master. She's part of the Rogues Guild here in Ravenshaven. She might be the leader of it.
Alright, and do I find out anything about, like, how shady this request is? Or if I'm getting into something way over my...
I mean, think about it, right? So she needs someone killed. She wants you to go and do that, right? So she's trying to make an example out of this person to make the guy who's rebelling against her put his men in check, right? So this might actually lead to more jobs. Kind of scrupulous jobs, but this might go to more jobs.
Well,
Right.
okay, Cortec just extends his hand and says, we have a deal.
She smiles and she says, I like things in signatures. And she hands you this piece of paper and says, "Welcome to the guild, Cortec, Northmen."
Okay.
Do you sign the piece of paper?
He reads it first.
It's just a contract saying that you are going to go kill this individual. And in doing so, this letter will be sent instead of the normal $25, 25 gold piece fee that would normally take place. So it's a really simple, basic contract. It's kind of a test, right? You go kill this guy. I'll go send this letter. Everybody walk away.
Okay. Cortex signs it.
She smiles and winks at you, and she says, "I'm so happy that you agreed, Cortec. To the south, there is a farm. I need you to go down there. There is a bandit who has taken residence there. It is a small moat house. Kill him and bring me his men."
Bring what?
Bring me his men.
Okay. Sounds fair.
Sounds simple, easy. Someone of your stature should be able to do it quite easily.
Okay, that's done. Cortec walks away and gets a beer.
She says, "Wait, aren't you going to write your letter?"
Well, I thought I had to do the job.
Of course. But I need the letter to be sent. I'm assuming you're doing your end of the bargain?
Yes, of course.
She says, "Then I will do mine." She says, "Letter."
Okay. So...
So to be clear, right? You've made this agreement. You're going to go kill this guy. She's going to go send the letter right now. Right?
Oh, alright.
So you've said, "I'm going to go kill this guy." And she's like, "Okay, cool. I'm going to go send the letter right now."
Alright. So, okay. Cortec gives her the letter, but I'm still typing now, so send it to me in a bit.
Excellent. She hands the letter off to one of her men. The guy takes it and begins heading out the door. She's like, "It is good doing business with you, Cortec." She takes the contract and stuffs it into her silk vest that she currently has in it. She's like, I'll be hearing from you soon, right, Cortec?"
Yes, you will.
Excellent.
It's a pleasure.
Take your time.
So, Cortec walks off, grabs a beer and some food.
Excellent. You've made a contract with the drow Lady Esmeralda. She begins petting her direwolf and watching you. I think we'll cut over to Ulfgar. There's a small smirk upon her face. Ulfgar, what are you doing?
Ulfgar is asking the barmaid if she's seen a dragon, basically seen Mudskipper.
She hasn't left her room, as I understand.
Ulfgar nods and he heads upstairs.
Once again, the council is in order. You head upstairs. You hear them over talking. They're like, we must send forces now. We must do something about Fort Malgrave. There's a discussion. I will not go into further detail unless you wish that. About what to do. They're currently talking about military strategy. Valseth is currently up, and he is listening. As they're saying, like, we should ally with the elves. And they're like, no, the elves have been cut off. There is a massive force between us and the elves. And like, well, what about the city of Alkaline? And they're like, no, the city of Alkaline will not ally with us. They view us as exiles and little more as pests and nuisance. If the Inquisition marches, they will march on their own. We cannot rely upon them. Where are you heading, Ulfgar?
He will give a nod to Villaseth on his way by. He's headed to Mudskipper's room currently.
The dragon just like looks at you, right? And then returns his attention to the war table.
Adric comes up to the door to her room and he knocks.
You hear like a shuffle inside, and the door opens, and you see before you a green dragonborn, right? Her clothes were ratty and taggy last time you saw her. She currently has like silks and finery on, and she's like, does she know?
No, I haven't explained things to her yet.
She opens the door and she looks at you and she's like, can I help you?
Aye, lass. I have some explaining to do. You know me as Adric.
And he holds out the contract.
She like takes it and looks at it and she's like, you've changed, Adric.
I have decided to reveal myself to the surface world. With that, there are some implications we must discuss for both you and I.
You're a dwarf.
Aye, lass. And it seems that you've been just as busy as I. Finding favor here in Ravenshaven, have you, lass?
She nods and she says, yes, I've been helping Sarah and Aura around the place. I've been doing night shift for them. I've been helping maintain the place and cleaning the place. That's how I've been earning my keep. I appreciate you helping to pay for my stay here.
Ulfgar nods. He's going to ask her if there's a time that's good later for them to talk, and he's going to get Cortec and gather everybody up.
She says, yes, come inside whenever you want to discuss anything. And she gestures. She gestures into her room. She says, yes, come inside.
Ulfgar is going to come around to the stairs.
Come on, lad. It's time. Follow me, Cortec.
Cortec, as you are like eating your food and stuff, you hear like the debate, right? Like we should send forces to engage the undead. They now have the stronghold of which the Inquisition was going to have. This foothold could mean dire straits. You hear the conversation that is currently happening within the council. You don't see who it is. You hear three distinct voices: a female's voice, or four distinct voices. You hear a female soft voice. You hear a preacher's voice, like, "We should do this," blah blah blah. You hear somebody who's like, "Hey man, we should just relax, just relax. Lick a toad, man, lick a toad." And then you hear one who's like kind of gruff and gnarly. He's like, "The undead are a threat to us all." But yes, that is what you currently hear. Also, you hear like war plans being discussed. People are coming in and going out. There's a bit of a tussle of like what they should and should not do.
Okay, so Cortec will finish his food, and
You also hear Ulfgar, like, "Hey lad, get your ass over!"
yeah, he goes up to Ulfgar and says, "Well, I have something I have to do. Would you like to come along, or do you have anything you have to do?"
Ulfgar's like, "I got stuff I have to do." And Cortec's like, "No, I got stuff I have to do."
Lad, I imagine you can spare a few minutes to hear an old man out. I told you I would explain, and now's the time.
Yeah, of course, I'm all ears.
He motions for Cortec to follow him.
Uh,
The door opens before you, Cortec, and you see a green dragonborn who says, "Hello, was it Ulfgar now?"
Aye, lass.
And who's your friend? Who is this? She gestures to Cortec.
This is a man from the north. Cortec is what he calls himself.
She shuts the door behind you. It's a simple room. You see like a bed and a dresser and a mirror, and you see simple things. You see like a comb, food that had been halfway ate. She's like, "Yes, come inside, have a seat." And she gestures you to sit sit on the bed. And she's like, "Yes, what was it that you need to discuss?"
Well, first of all, lass, I might as well explain why we're one short coming back. That doctor we picked up along the way ended up betraying us, trying to steal from us, and escaped into the...
I'm sorry to hear that.
Apparently...
You seem like a good man.
yeah, I hope my axe is still in his bag.
As I know all too well, looks are deceiving, lass. Allow me to properly introduce myself to you two. I am Ulfgar Ashencloak, one of the dwarves who are still alive for the Mixed Kingdoms, who's seen the plague firsthand and knows what came before. I'm afraid, Cortec, our run-in with the wyverns is not my first run-in with those. They have been hunting my kin for centuries. They know that I have come out from beneath the mountain. They have been hunting me since.
Yeah, I knew that had something to do with you.
One day, they will die to my hands. But unfortunately, those days have not yet come.
Well, Cortec holds his two battle axes as well. I can help you with that.
Ulfgar nods. Lass, the reason I kept myself from you. I know the human kingdoms do not take kindly to dwarves and mages such as I.
Roll me a persuasion as you're saying this. She like nods in agreement. She's like, I understand. I too, as a dragonborn, am an outsider.
Well, Kortek looks at him and says, well, I've been with the giant before, so someone small is not a problem.
I missed part of that. Can you speak into the mic more?
Well, I've been with the giant before, so being with someone small is not a problem.
Lad, I don't think we're speaking about the same things here.
Well, Kortek is simple-minded, man.
Imagine how the human kingdoms would react to an old one such as I returning to the surface world. Would they not try to control me and hunt me down, just as the wyverns?
Well, I do agree with that.
He looks at Mudskipper as he says this.
She says, I don't know. It depends on how an Inquisitor would view you. My Canoness was very forgiving. That's why I was allowed to serve under her. I wasn't allowed to hold a high position, but I was still sanctioned under her. She was very intolerant. Well, until you revealed. And then she's like, your true self? She's like, she's like, you're like an onion, Ulfgar, Adric, whatever your name is. I keep finding out new things about you.
Us, I've lived for many centuries. You tend to pick up a few things along the way.
She says, yes, that's understandable, but I can understand why they would confuse you for some strange monster fiend. She like rubs her side as she recalls.
I imagine so. For now, my people must be mere legends to the human. Their short, simple lives.
She nods in agreement. She's like, yes, of course.
I have come to the surface to reclaim what was taken from us during the Mixed Kingdom.
What was that?
A stone, much like this one, as he will pull out the the Tear of the Blood Queen.
I don't know what that is.
There is a gem that is of a green shape, similar to this one. Green color and a tear shape similar to this one. I am told the Inquisition has it. That is why I have come to the surface to bring it back to my people, for it is ours, lost long ago.
I have not seen such a stone. Therefore,
fear...
my Canoness must not have had it.
Ulfgar nods. I fear I must go to the city of Alkaline soon to uncover its true whereabouts. But I do not know what awaits me in such a place.
She shrugs and replies, and she says, well, now that you have revealed yourself, do you think you will not be discovered?
Alas, I am not worried about discovery any longer. The wyverns have already found me once before. They know I have made it this far across the surface world.
The wyverns do not serve the Holy Master.
I know, alas, but if one enemy knows I'm here, surely the others will.
Is that so?
Question is, will this Holy Master of yours be my enemy or not?
I don't know. dwarves and elves have always been preached against for their vanity and corruption. But she like looks at herself, and then Dragonborn's greed. I suppose anybody who is different, who isn't human, would be frowned upon and looked upon with suspicion.
Ulfgar nods.
Kortek could easily walk in, assuming that he would renounce his pagan ways and accept the Holy Master. He would be warmly greeted and welcomed.
Kortek looks at her.
I mean, you have symbols of
Yeah.
unknown origin. Let's see if she recognizes them. She says, "You bear the symbol of false gods."
They're not false, and I'm not pledging to a different god.
She frowns at this and she says, "Should you walk into the city of Alkaline with those and not renounce your god, you are as good as dead. You will be burned at the stake as a heretic."
Ulfgar nods.
I will burn before I renounce Davos.
Well, then, it is settled. We won't go to Alkaline anytime.
Interesting.
I suppose I should find out what my kin have done. Tell me, Mudskipper, what news have you heard? I know the council's in an uproar over the taking of Fort Malgrave.
It's worse than that, I fear. I've heard rumors that the Knoll tribes of the Golden Plains have allied themselves with the undead. They seem to be wanting to march against something or someone. I've heard that there is some sort of creature dressed in black armor that drives the undead.
I may know who it is, lass.
She frowns at this and she's like, "Heresy."
Not all of my kin are so welcoming and inviting to other races, as he kind of grins. Just as the humans, so are the other races sometimes.
She looks at Kortek and she's like, "No doubt."
Cortex just smiles like,
So she seems prim and proper. She seems very civilized. This is probably the first time that you've seen a Dragonborn. She seems to be well educated and well pristine. Yeah. You are covered in furs and look like a wildman, right? I mean, have you even had a bath yet? I don't think you've even had a bath. So you're covered in grit and grime and all types of stuff. So the contrast of you two are like are best. Yes. She does have a book, like on her belt. She has like a book on her belt.
Tell me, lass, would you be willing to travel with me once more?
Roll me persuasion. She says, "I will need time to think about this."
Ulfgar nods.
She says, "Where are you going first and foremost?"
Ulfgar nods again.
That is a good question, lass. I suppose we might need to figure that out first.
And he winks at her.
as soon as he says that, Cortex looks at him and just like, yeah, I have something we need to talk about.
Alright, lad. Let me reserve my room. We can speak there.
Okay.
More secrets? Like, she comes up and grabs you off guard, and she's like, "More secrets."
I look at her as soon as she grabs Ulfgar, and I say, "That's about me. That's not about him."
She frowns at you and she says, "We have been traveling longer together, Ulfgar. And what about this wild man that you just met? You're going to keep secrets from me." I mean, she kind of like frowns at this, right? So, like, you've been keeping like all this secrets. You didn't show your identity. You nearly killed her. I mean, when is like this breaking point, right? She's like, if you want me to travel with you, Ulfgar, you need to trust me, and I need to trust you. And she looks at you dead in the eye with her green eyes. And what color eyes are you?
Yes. I think I have
What
it written
color
down.
of
Hold
eyes?
on.
Yeah. Well, let's see. That's what I'm trying to remember too. I don't think
gray.
they're blue. Okay, yeah.
They're like,
And
yeah.
she says, if we are going to work together, Ulfgar, I need to trust you. I trusted that doctor, and you said he betrayed us. Well, betrayed you. I feel kind of bad about that, but if we're going to work together, we need to be honest with each other.
Ulfgar shrugs.
I suppose it's true. I did save her just like I saved you, Amok, and what's up? Suppose you're all my responsibilities now.
You saved that filthy orc?
Alas, just because you don't agree with a life doesn't mean it's not worth saving.
She frowns at this. You don't know, do you? All the atrocities the orcs committed?
And alas,
You
don't
probably
know any
do.
orc, do you?
She doesn't. No, she doesn't.
Well, as soon as she says that, Cortic looks at her, extends his hand, and says, well, orcs fought by my side, so they deserve my respect. Fight by my side, I'll do the same.
Roll me a persuasion, you wild man.
Ulfgar already faced this, so you're facing Ulfgar had to face it. At least they haven't said you got to be lobotomized yet.
Excellent. She looks at you, and as you're like defending these orcs, like I fought side by them, and she's like, your people probably fought along with them during the purge. No doubt, you are an orc sympathizer.
I'm not an orc sympathizer.
You just defended them.
Yeah, I did. They fought by my side.
She's ignoring you, Ulfgar. She's actually berate against Cortex's defense of these filthy greenskins. By the way, she's green.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I just want to show the irony. Yeah, okay. Yeah. She's like, these filthy greenskins murdered a bunch of humans. She's like, have you no sympathy for your kind, your own race? You're just a wild man of the north. And she says, get out of my room.
Well, before he leaves, he looks at her and says, yes, I'm a wild man of the north, and I sympathize with whoever fights with me. I don't care about who you are, where you come from, or which race you are. And then he just walks out.
She turns to look at you, Ulfgar, and she's like, He'll learn.
Ulfgar sighs and rubs his face and his beard.
Alas, you just made a point about not keeping secrets, and you just shoved the secrets out the door.
Is he one of your secrets, Ulfgar? Are you and him some sort of pact?
Alas,
she is irate right now. She is pissed. Cortex's words fell on deaf ears, and she literally berated him and kicked him out of her room. Are you going to keep this going, Ulfgar?
No. He's going to try and calm her down before he keeps talking.
Sure. Tell me how you're attempting to calm her down, and roll me persuasion. There we go.
Alas, if you're gonna keep traveling with me, you need to keep an open mind. I understand your position about how the people you serve and the people you know felt such loss. But understand the loss was not only felt by humans, but by orcs and others. This man may seem mad, just as I did, but I assure you, he has decided to come and follow me, just as you have. So I will hear him out.
She grabs the sleeve of your shirt and she says, Ulfgar, Ulfgar, when we failed Malgrave, what do you think happened?
Alas, I suggest you try not to think of that. The importance is you're alive now, rather than with the dead.
She like slowly nods in agreement as your words soothe her. She like rubs her head, right? You can roll me an insight as you recall something about her. Actually, you just know. You rolled this already before. You think she has survivor's guilt, right? I'm pretty sure that you knew that. Yeah, she's got survivor's guilt.
Yeah, this is the first time he's had to calm her down from something like that.
Yeah. She like as you leave the room, she's got like her hand over her mouth as she's like considering your words. The door shuts behind you, and you guys are currently outside.
He's gonna go down and pay for the room for the night, and then come back up again.
Excellent. You guys have this room.
All right.
It is 1 silver. Mark it off.
As soon as they go in, Cortex.
That also includes meals and drinks, so like a continental
Cortex
buffet.
looks at Ulfgar and says, "Well, Ulfgar, in exchange for the letter to be sent, I need to carry out a task. I need to go south to a farm and bring, it's Lady Elizabeth, is it? I need to bring some of Lady Elizabeth's men and actually deal with the rebel. It's totally up to you. I'll not try to ask you to come, but if you want to come, I would like to come."
And what task is this that she has for you?
That's exactly what I told you. You need to go there, deal with the rebel, and bring her men back.
What do you mean by deal with, lad? You seem plain, so speak plainly.
Well, I'll beat the crap out of him.
Is this really what you wish to be? Simple enforcer for a drow?
No, but I needed the letter sent.
Then do what you have to, lad. I can't promise my aid just yet, but I'll see what I can do.
That's okay with me. Thank you.
Ulfgar wants to come out and approach the council.
It is currently an open council. Anybody may speak. They are currently discussing what to do, what forces they have, and how are they going to implement them if they must. Before you stands the Bar, a gnoll who is known as Bar the Hunter. Next to him is an elf of fine complexion and dark hair. She is known as the Ranger Elidora. Sitting across from her is the Inquisitor, Judas. He, of course, is saying, "Let's march to war." He has a bald head, and he's currently, I'm pretty sure he's got full plate. Half plate. He's got a half plate. And then across, sitting next to him on his left is Sakul, the boar elf, who is currently licking this big fat toad. It's almost about the size of him. And of course, sitting at the head of the table, fully awake and listening to the conversation, is Valseth, which you have met before. A silver dragon of great renown and of importance. This is the Council of Five.
Ulfgar is going to try to listen first. He wants to figure out all the information that he can about what happened after he left Fort Malgrave, and he's going to ask what evidence they have that the Knolls are working with the.
So they say that there is a Knoll tribe that is currently working with them. There are currently 3 tribes that have currently discussed terms. 2 of them are currently iffy. They seem to be leaning towards joining the undead forces. 1 has joined. They are named the Blood Moon. Ravenshaven has offered them a position among them, as long as they turn away from the undead and not bolster their numbers. They have gotten no reply back and have received none. The messenger that they sent hasn't returned. That is the current situation. Rumor has it is that some sort of creature in dark armor has rallied the forces of the dead to his cause, and they are not sure what that cause is. It could be to fight the elves, it could be to engage the kingdom of Alkline, or to march upon the city of Ravenshaven. They are not quite sure. From that strategic location, they can strike anywhere they so wish. It also makes them vulnerable, however. If they could unite against them, the elves, who are currently cut off because of the undead marching from the Black Marshes, if they could reach them, they could do a pincer assault upon the fortress. However, that still remains of curiosity of what the kingdom of Alkline will do, if they will do anything at all. They could call a purge. They could just sit in their iron fortress and just wait it out. They are not sure of what they will do. So that is the current situation, as they are trying to figure out what, if anything, to do.
And what does Veliseth say about all of this? Is he's just silently observing?
Veliseth, the Silver Dragon, is currently observing. As you approach the council, they turn to you and say that, as I understand it, the forces of Almach have been diminished. Would you care to enlighten the council of how this has happened? I understand that you came in with Almach and what's up. Please step forward and address the council. They call upon...
I
Ulfgar.
am
Adric.
Ulfgar Ashencloak.
There's a murmur that goes around.
You asked what happened with Almach and his men. We were traveling towards the ruins, the tomb of the old kingdoms.
There are many tombs and kingdoms around here. Speak clearly.
We have uncovered the tomb of Esma.
I think I mispronounced that.
Aesna.
Esna.
Doesn't mean anything to the council. Continue your tale.
We were
Ulfgar.
ambushed by wyverns along the way. Many of his men perished.
When you say that, there's a murmur that comes up. You're like, wyverns this far to the south? Like, no, you must be mistaken. They were red dragons.
Trust me, I know the difference between a red dragon and a wyvern.
Roll me a persuasion, as they are fairly convinced that a wyvern would not engage. This is not their territory. They say no. Continue your story. Adric or Ulfgar or whoever you are. Continue your tale.
The wyverns attacked. We managed to defeat 2 of them, but not before the others were near to being perished. I managed to save them from death and escape. The wyverns are still out there, though, between here and the ruins that we've discovered.
Once again, the council's like, probably red dragons. The heat must have gotten to him. He doesn't even know his name. It's kind of like a bit of a chuckle and laughter, like, yeah, he doesn't even know his name. Regardless, half of our forces have been diminished because of this incursion of the mercenaries. Although we do appreciate their wealth that they do bring in, we cannot vouch for any more expeditions into the Endless Desert. Is that clear? You may no longer take any mercenary forces. We are going to hire everybody that we currently can. So they look at you and they're like, Adric or Ulfgar, or whoever you are, Telweaver, as it may be, are you interested in working for us? We could use more men.
I must admit, I am interested in the plight of the Golden Plains.
We care not about the Golden Plains. We are more concerned about the city of Ravenshaven, here in the Endless Desert. The Golden Plains are none of our concerns until they overstep their bounds.
What evidence do you have that they may turn their attention here?
The dead care not on who they attack. We are the closest. They pull out this map, right? They lay it down, and they say that the elven kingdoms are a prized target. However, their woods are the best fortification against the dead. There are wild beasts there that help aid the elves. There's also the silver dragons, who have allied themselves with the elves in the past. So should things turn worse, the silver dragons might be able to come down and aid their elven allies. We do not have such luxury. They look to Valseth, who's just sitting there silently, observing.
If you could reach the elves, what would you propose to them? How would you expect to sway them to be involved in the plight of Ravenshaven?
Mutual defense. Should the elves be assaulted, we will march south and engage Fort Malgrave. However, if we cannot coordinate our assault and the main forces of undead are still amassed, we would be easily slaughtered. The same thing with the elves. So if the undead turn their attention towards Ravenshaven, we could defend it, and the elves could attempt to flank and attack Malgrave from the south. And yet, these are not the only dangers. The Inquisition is still in force. It is their territory that was lost. We do not know of their movements or their whereabouts.
I have reason to believe the Kingdom of Alkaline may be under a bit of unrest.
Speak of what you know.
On my travels recently to the Elven Kingdoms, I heard a rumor of civil war on the verge of breaking out within the Kingdom of Alkaline.
We have heard this as well. That is why there has been an increase in price of weaponry. On the 19th of Feo, there was a sudden increase in prices of weapons. It is also interesting enough that Daenerys, the Dreamer, was found guilty and executed for profanity and of heresy.
I don't believe the human kingdoms are in any position to step out and reclaim their lost forts.
You underestimate the humans. Judas says. He says, if there is a common enemy, humans will unite and swarm upon it like ants.
I suppose that may be.
However, should the Inquisition lose an entire army to the undead, the undead may be unstoppable. For either the Elf Kingdoms nor Ravenshaven has the power to engage an undead army of the Inquisition.
Then I suppose it might be time to form what's not been formed in ages. Sounds to me like another alliance might be in order.
They shrug, and that says there are no alliances.
There was once, long ago, before the dragons intervened. Perhaps it is time for the common races to bind themselves together for a time once.
There's a murmur, right? It's could we do that? Could we ally? It's is this possible? There's a murmur. Roll me a persuasion, seeing if you can convince the crowd. Many bad deeds have occurred over the years. So they're not hostile to this idea, right? And they're is it possible? Could this happen? And they're well, and they're kind of they're iffy, right? There's murmurs, right? It's could we do it? Is it possible?
What you need.
There's no strong support. Just to be clear, there's no strong support against or not against it, right? Everybody recognizes the threat, right? However, there's no overwhelming, yeah, let's all get together and blah blah blah. No, it's kind of a lukewarm reception.
All it takes is one. We all remember what happened during the last plague. Do we wish to see it rise again?
There's an audible frown and yes.
This is a common goal that all have a stake in. We all have a reason to prevent the plague from spreading any further.
They're not in agreement, but they're once again, this is the Golden Plains, and we are in the Endless Desert. You ask for us to march upon the Golden Plains, which is not our territory. And we have no idea. Perhaps we could get the Knoll tribes to ally with us, if that's even possible.
I wonder what the Knoll tribes are receiving in return for their aid to the undead.
We have no information in regards to this. It is not uncommon that the undead and the gnolls work together. Same thing with trolls. Trolls have not been sighted yet, but do not doubt that they will not come to the smell of dead flesh.
Then I believe something must be done now. How would you get a message to the elves quickly enough to form any sort of offensive? What of your troops? From what I've seen, you are but a handful.
It is an impossible task. What you ask? Only someone with wings could do such a thing.
Ulfgar smiles across the table at Villiseth.
Valseth has a deadpan look about him.
Well, it's good we have the Seal of the Dragon, right?
To be clear, this is known as the City of Exiles. Judas is the first one to speak as they look at Valseth, and they're you would send our prize across undead lands to inform the elves who may or may not aid us. That is insane. I will not back this motion, Judas says. I will not give up our best weapon to be slaughtered by elves or undead. You are insane. There's kind of a general nod of hey, let's send our best weapon out. Maybe that'll, yeah.
Perhaps there are other ways. Perhaps you may not be alone. Perhaps I'll return with news. I must speak with others first.
He excuses himself from the table.
So like Sakul's like, oh, that's a great idea. We should send Valis. And they're like, everybody's like, shut up, Sakul. And they're like, no, no. It's like, you should listen to the elf or the dwarf or the whatever he is. And they're like, dismiss him. They just shake their heads as he licks his toad and continues to get high. What are you doing, Ulfgar? As like they're discussing this matter.
He's going to go back to Mudskipper's room.
Mudskip's currently reading her book as you knock, and she opens the door, and she says, "Ulfgar, what is it?" We'll pause. We'll pause right here, right? Kortek, buddy, what are you doing?
Okay, so as Kortik gets out of the room, he looks for Almak.
You hear the debate going on. Ulfgar is clearly like, you hear like everything that was going on. This is not being secret or secretly kept or anything.
All right. Well,
as Ulfgar is like addressing the crowd, you easily slip by, right?
all right. Did I hear anything about trying to get the gnolls to sign with us?
Oh yes, you definitely heard that.
Okay. When Kortek hears that, he walks up here and says, "Well, I could talk to gnolls."
So like Ulfgar, you haven't left yet. Okay, we'll recant that, right? So Kortek approaches. He's like, I could talk to gnolls.
Lad, so can the gnoll, as he points to the gnoll standing next to him. I think they've already tried talking.
Oh, I didn't know there was a. I'm sorry.
Bar, the hunter, is a brown and silver-haired wolf, or gnoll, which is like a kind of like a werewolf, just not as like beefed up or insane. He's probably a good foot shorter than you are, Kortek. He is currently in leather armor and has a spear. He like nods to you and he says, "Our last communication with them failed. We do not know why."
First of all, he comes here, extends his hand, and says, "It's a pleasure."
He offers a hand back and he says, "May the moon always guide your path." He shakes your hand in reply.
Mm-hmm. Well, then he says to the table, "Why did their last contact fail?"
Judas stands up and says, "Why are we allowing wild men into this council?"
I'm trying.
Judas is this man right here. A clear symbol of the Holy Master is embroidered within his sign. Senpai, this is not blue, right? It is a symbol of a blue. I'll show you what it looks like. Give me a second. Why is a wild man of the north interrupting this council? Who is this stranger?
Well, sir, I offered help. If you think I'm not welcome here, I'll just follow my path.
This is the symbol that he has embroidered within his...
Alright, and I do recognize it as a symbol.
Sakul, who is currently high, from licking his toes, Sakul is a boar elf, which is like a short pig man about the size of Ulfgar. He's just like tripping balls, right? And he's like licking this giant toad. It's like sitting on his shoulder, right? It looks like a giant wart. And he's just like, it's like, let him speak, Judas. Let him speak. Sit down, Kortek. I want to hear what the wild man has to say. And then like Judas like scowls at the boar elf, and he sits back down. Sakul gestures for you to continue.
Okay, so Cortex sits down and says, "Well, I'm offering for help, as if Ulfgar is involved in this, and he helped me before, I'm interested in helping you well."
Elladora, an elf who has dark hair and judging eyes, crosses her arms and says, "What do you propose, Kortek?"
Well, we could maybe try another contract, no, but maybe in a more secure way.
Are you offering to be an emissary to the city of Ravenshaven to address these gnolls who have not sided with the undead?
Well, I mean, if that's necessary, I would help.
And what would you require? What would you need in order to complete this task?
Well, I don't know what misadventures might happen in the ways. Probably just a forest structure to go with me and be sure I'm gonna arrive and come back and see.
Perhaps someone who has a relation with the elves as well. If we're going to be traveling that way and you truly wish to gain their alliance.
So the Council of Ravenhaven begins to discuss this. Like, can we really trust a wildman of the North with such an important task? Roll me a persuasion, Cortec, as this was your idea.
Well,
So Judas is like, he slams his hand down and says, I cannot entrust a wild man with such an important task. And the council says, hush, Judas. Who else can we send? And they look to you, Cortec, and says, we will task you with this. Should you return with good news or ill, we will reward you handsomely.
okay.
Take anything that you require from our armory.
Thank you. As Cortec takes a leave, he grabs a symbol of his tribe, stops by the dragon, and says, oh, I heard about silver dragons, your bringers of the cold.
Roll me a perception as you approach the silver dragon.
Oh, man.
Yes. Upon his right hand, he is attempting to hide it from you as you approach. A large black claw is embedded within his middle claw. The scales originate from the skull and goes down and slowly crawls up to his shoulder. He seems to be deformed or defected in some way. As you look at him, you see that he is clearly silver. A majestic creature. I don't think you've seen a dragon before, right? This is
no. Yeah,
I don't think you've seen a dragon before.
But I mean,
this is
I
the
heard
apex. Yeah, you've heard of legends of these things. This is the apex of evolution of thousands of years. Your people have stories about these things. They are gods within this world.
Yeah.
Or so the legends say.
So as soon as I approach, I just pretend I don't see Black Claw, because I mean I don't want to be disrespectful. I know the power of this thing, as I mean, I kind of think I know. And I offer him just a symbol of my village. It says, "Well, please accept this. I mean, I cannot give you more, but it's an honor to be the president of."
So you're offering a gift?
Yeah.
What gift are you offering?
A symbol of my tribe.
Roll me persuasion.
To give a gift? Come on.
The silver dragon turns and looks at you and says, you realize that there are no gods.
It's not a symbol of Talos, it's a symbol of my tribe.
Oh, it's a symbol of your tribe. Yeah, he says, thank you for this. And he accepts your symbol.
Yeah, Cortec nods and just sets off and goes to the armory.
Within the armory, you can get any and all mundane items. You see it in the thing. You may accept anything that's mundane, so anything common, including full plate, tower shields, you name it, it's there. It's mundane, though. Not magical or mastercraft.
No, it's completely fine. Okay, so
You have agreed, taking on another thing, to be the emissary of Ravenshaven, and in doing so, they have you. They give you a symbol of Ravenshaven. Let's see here, as a representation of the city. It is a raven's claw. Let's see here if I got it. Nope. I don't think I have it up. Because I didn't think that somebody would join with Ravenshaven either. So yes, you get a symbol, an embroidery. Tell me what you get decked out in.
Okay, so Cortic gets a full plate.
Yes, you do get full plate.
All right, now I have a ton on my.
Let's see if I can find a raven's claw that'll match it. Eagle claw might be better, or easier to find. It'll be simpler design, but yeah. Yes. So something that I will need to do. You are now an emissary of Ravenshaven.
Okay.
Embroidered within this armor is that of a raven's claw. I wish I could show it to you, but I wasn't expecting you to join forces with Ravenshaven. Ulfgar, buddy, you see this promotion right before your eyes. Literally right before your eyes. Yeah. They're like, hey, buddy, go pick whatever you want out from the armory. You want to get in on this action, or are you just going to sit tight?
He could use, was it half plate, I think?
Well, first off, are you offering to escort Cortec?
Yeah, he will. He'll also mention interest in speaking with the elves once.
Roll me a persuasion.
I mean, he was the one to propose the unheard of alliance.
Yes, but you... Yeah,
Nah.
interesting. They frown at you, and they're like, Ulfgar, you, the short one, right there, you, step forward. And they offer you a symbol of, unlike Cortec, who gets the run of the mill, you pretty much get like a tag saying that you are accompanying Cortec as an emissary to the Knolls.
Okay. I'll take it.
Sorry, buddy, you rolled a 6.
I mean, he's not too concerned with it. These are all ultimately trivial matters of the surface world.
It is, ultimately. Your armor's probably some of the better stuff out here, anyways. You don't see a lot of people running around with metal. They want Cortec to succeed, right? So.
Okay, well,
Ulfgar, you are tasked in protecting him.
It's nothing new. He's already kept him alive countless times. He's just going to end up being the grand babysitter. He's going to have all these people that he's humans and short-lived.
Thou shalt call you the grand babysitter of Ravenshaven.
okay, Cortec actually goes to Amok.
Yes. So you scrolled. You are decked out in full plate, and he is decked out in normal armor. He see here. Yeah, he's just got half plate on. So
right.
You come out in this like expensive gear. It is super expensive. You are clearly decked out in like. Oof. Amok kind of laughs at this, right? He literally laughs as you step out into the sun of the endless desert, and he says, "Okay." He like looks at you. He's like, "What did you do?"
Well, I heard that we are in a pretty difficult situation, so I asked for help. I'll be heading out to talk to Noel. I would just ask you for a favor. I might need that axe we talked about pretty soon. So, I just hope we get that as fast as possible.
Give me a luck roll as you and Amok approach the blacksmith Williams. So I'm going to say 90 and above, or 90 and above, he has it in stock. 80 and below, it's halfway. Oh, it's. Here's your Mastercraft Battle Axe. Congratulations, buddy. Amok dishes out the gold from the treasury that he has. It's plus 150. So you are making out like a fat cat as you get this Mastercraft Battle Axe. So in your inventory, write in Mastercraft Battle Axe.
Mm-hmm.
This Mastercraft means that it can be enchanted and magically enhanced. So the skill of this battle axe, right, the craftsmanship of it. Ulfgar, buddy, what type of weapon did you want? Since Amok's here as well. Roll me a D100 and see what you got.
It's I
What
guess
do
a
you want?
warhammer.
A Warhammer?
I mean, that's what he's using right now is just a basic warhammer. So
Yeah. So go ahead and roll. See if it's got in stock. Nope. Ulfgar, buddy. He's like, Warhammers aren't really my thing.
I mean, Ulfgar is a smithy, so maybe we can do some smithing here in a little bit. Wink.
So roll me a die 6. And are you working together?
Yeah, he'll work together with him.
Yeah. Roll me a die 6. He says that in a day and a half, he should be able to make it with your aid. Without your aid, it will be 3 days. He says, can you wait around for that long?
I guess, Cortec, can you wait around that long? Or do you need to go now?
So a day and a half. It requires a day and a half.
So it's taken them a couple of days already. So Fort Malgrave was taken over several days ago before we...
You might want to rethink that. It's almost been a month since Fort Malgrave has been taken over.
Yeah, well, his point was it's not... He's trying to make it sound like it's not that urgent.
Yeah, it's
I mean, they don't see them in the horizon of the endless desert. There's no reports of undead entering the desert yet.
No, yes, definitely that. The only bad thing that has happened is like their emissary has not returned, and of course the death of Amok's troops.
Does Cortic know how far farm?
Give me a second. And it's the Moat House.
Yeah, the Moat House, yeah.
It's Moat House. But she said it was near a farm. She said Farmer Ed's farm. Farmer Ed can direct you from there.
All right.
You have an open invitation to that place as well.
Well,
if you check your
has
inventory.
an open invitation.
Cortec does not, however. But you know,
I mean,
working together,
with Ulfgar, he will have
working together, you might be able to have something hash out. So, what are you guys doing?
Yeah. No, Cortic tries to figure out how long would it take for him to go and come back.
I believe. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me scroll over to the map. I have to count out the days. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 days.
Is it on the way to the north, or is it opposite way?
Actually, I'll just bring you guys over. I'll bring you guys over to the map. So Ulfgar knows that the encampment of which the forces of the Knolls were gathering was right here. Ulfgar, you realize that there was more than 3 tribes.
Sorry, there was more what?
More than 3 tribes. There was a 4th one that you guys did not identify.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Anyways, continue. The farm, which Ulfgar has not been to, he's heard rumors of it. He's never been to it though.
No, but he does have an open invitation to go to the farm.
It is 7 days away.
And to which direction is it?
It is to the south, almost directly south. It's a little bit southwest.
All right, so it's pretty much kind of like after the tribes.
I don't know where you guys are going. That's the fun part about this. I have no idea where you guys are going.
If we need to go south and talk to the north.
Oh, you guys are plotting a route, right? So you guys are plotting a route?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you could easily hit where the trolls were last seen gathering. But yes.
So the
Right.
question was, are you waiting or not for the weapon to be?
Right, that is true.
Ulfgar does tell Quartet that he wants to wait, right?
So with Ulfgar and the blacksmith working
I have
together.
to be working together to
right.
help it.
Otherwise, it'll
have
be
it done
3
faster.
days for him to do it by himself.
All right.
So I'm literally cutting the time down in half.
So Quartet agrees to waiting.
Okay.
Okay. Ulfgar does still need to get back and talk to Mudskipper about all of this at some point soon.
Excellent. So we switch back over. Ulfgar, you knock on Mudskip's room, right? And she has her book out, and she opens the door, and she says, "Back so soon."
Apparently the lad's got quite the mouth on him.
He
Apparently,
seems to accept every quest offered to him. I love it. I love it. I'm glad that all these quests were prepared.
apparently the lad has to go in force for the drow somewhere towards the south. Close by where Farmer Ed was, where we were first looking to explore.
She says, Ulfgar, you know that you're heading deeper into Inquisition territory.
Aye, alas. Which is why I'm asking if you will come with us. There are a few other things going on that you might be helpful.
Roll me persuasion. You know how this works, buddy. You know how this works. She closes her book and she says, I have some matters to attend to down south. Perhaps sitting here in an inn won't help anyone. She says, all right, Ulfgar, I am ready to leave right now.
Alas, let me finish explaining things.
No, she's ready to go right now. You rolled a 20. She's ready to go right now. She's like, she gets it, she starts gathering her things up, unaware of like you needing to get your your hammer out. She starts packing things up.
Alas, it's gonna be a day or two before we can leave. I'm still preparing myself.
Oh, she like stops packing and she's like, okay.
And there's more. Apparently this lad has agreed to be an emissary for Ravensaven. He wishes to stop by the Knoll tribes on the way. Sounds like a bad idea to me, but
She's like packing her stuff up, and then she like drops her stuff, and she's like, "What are you saying? You're saying you wanted to go meet? You know that's a death trap. That's insane." Ulfgar, 3 tribes. You told me that there was 3 tribes there. And by the way, that was when the last time they saw it.
I'm not saying any of this is a good idea, lass.
She says, Ulfgar, you're foolishly following, she says, I can't believe I'm saying this, this human, this northerner, who doesn't know anything about anything. She says, do you have a death wish, Ulfgar? Are you trying to die?
Lass, I believe it may be time for us to start another alliance. The undead are marching, and if these reports are true, it'll be something all the surface forces may join together and defeat.
She's like, the Inquisition will take care of it, or the elves will. We don't have to risk our lives.
Lass, can you imagine the Inquisition and the elves working together on their own?
Long ago, yes, but not now.
And who remembers those times long ago? Who among the humans would know of it? And who among the elves would still remember the prosperity of the mixed kingdoms?
So she frowns at you and she says, "My Canoness."
Alas, that was several centuries ago. I
Yes,
doubt you're...
but she was a scholar. She loved history.
I suppose if your canoness still lives, perhaps she would be able to help. But the fact remains we must begin somewhere. Kortek believes...
You told me to give up hope on her, Ulfgar. You said that I should just be grateful that I'm alive. You told me that she was foolish. And now you're saying, like, oh, yes, bring the mixed kingdoms together again? You're talking just like she did. You know why we were out there, Ulfgar? You know why? We were trying to set up trade with Ravenshaven and the Elf Kingdoms to thaw relationships. But you didn't know, did you?
Lass, I don't think anyone knew.
You didn't ask. You didn't care.
And yet I still have a contract, don't I?
She like looks at it and she's like, that bounds you to the Canoness, who you think is dead. Who I think is dead. If you go to the kingdom of Alkaline, they will think that you are a deserter and will hang you for desertion. Just like me.
Lass, I'm not saying we need to go into the kingdom of Alkaline. I'm saying we need to go south and perhaps visit the elves on our way.
And they'll kill me. Just as they would kill you as well.
Lass.
That silly northerner out there trying to trick you into going off on your wild tangents. She's scolding you once again, right? Like, this is the same rinse repeat, right?
Lass, I've already had an audience with the elves. There are some who remember just as I do what we once had.
She just shakes her head. I'll follow you, Ulfgar. Only to keep you safe, because I think you're a good man, although stupid at times. She like shoves her clothes into the back. Like,
I suppose that'll do, lass.
Just shakes her head at you. It's like, what am I doing? You hear like the doors, and she's like, what am I doing following this stupid dwarf who doesn't even know his own name? We hear the door shut behind you, right? Anything else, Ulfgar?
He finds Kortek and informs him that she'll be coming along with, and he will come with Kortek for the moment but he does believe that they need to keep an eye out for the undead as they go. He shares that the tribes are quite powerful. These are no normal Null tribes that have gathered in the Golden Plains.
Well, Vortex nods to him and says, well, I understand there are risks, but, well, I'm willing to take it.
But I just don't see how this is gonna help you make your mark on this world.
Well, it could work out.
I think that's a perfect place to end this session. We see Kortek kind of like smiling in his nice shiny new armor, and he's got this kick-ass battle axe. And Ulfgar is kind of like a droopy face, like. He's like, well, it could work out. And like Ulfgar's like, and then we see like the Dragonborn. She's like, and I think that's where we'll end this scene. Wave goodbye to the folks, and that's the end of this episode. Bye.